Hey guys, welcome to Coffee Convos. I know this is a little different this week because Kail is actually out with strep throat and she is attending a funeral this week. So I'm going to be praying for her, but I have a special guest, Susie from Brain Candy Podcast, and she is going to be co-hosting me this week. So welcome, Susie.
Thanks for having me. I mean, I feel bad that Kail's missing, but not that much because I get to be with you.
I know. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
I do feel like you're going to be okay, though. You guys are like two peas in a pod over here.
I know. You know, honestly, I was like devastated would probably be the word because everybody knows that listens to the podcast that I'm so used to routine and I don't like anything out of routine. So it's a little weird, but it'll be fun. It'll be a refreshing conversation.
Well, you'll have to like walk me through it because I know you guys have such a rapport. And I feel like from what I know that it's like a bit of an odd couples scenario where you're so organized and Kail is always like flying by the seat of her pants. And I love both of those components, but maybe I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yes, I definitely think you're somewhere in the middle of the personalities, but I think you lean like closer on my side of personality.
Well, we'll have to make it work. Maybe like I'll purposefully disagree with you just like to try to fit in with Kail's prototype.
Is that your personality, Susie, that you just like conform to fit in? Because that's definitely not me or Kail.
No way. I feel like, well, because I was on reality TV as well. So I think none of us are well-behaved people in some respect. Right?
I feel like
Don't you agree?
You have to not be behaved to be on reality TV.
Right.
I feel like
the whole genre is like predicated on people being naughty.
Exactly. And actually like condoning bad behavior.
I feel like you're
it's
the only
awesome.
one that's like well behaved and like, you know, cares about paying your bills on time and like showing up for appointments. Do you feel like that?
Yes, but I feel like that's normal. I feel like that is being an adult.
Yeah, but within that community, I think you're a rarity. So I commend you.
Gosh, well, thank you, Susie. That makes me feel better about myself.
And I know you're probably feeling lost without Kail, but I'll do my best to like go with the flow. So you have to teach me like, how do you guys like to kick it off?
Well, we normally just talk about random stuff. Like we talk about our kids and, I do have a little story. My Jackson, he's playing soccer this season and he got the game medal for the week and he was so thrilled. So thrilled. Yes.
What does that signify? That he's the best player?
Well, I tell him that that's not what it signifies because I don't want him to like think that. But yes, it's like the player, I guess, who shows the most teamwork, the most leadership, and a different player kind of gets it every week. It's not, they don't give it to the same player. So Jackson just really shined this week. So he got it. And it's funny because he was the last kid to get it in baseball because his dad's the coach. So Will gave it to him last.
Right.
I guess because it's his kid. And Jackson waited around all season for it, baseball season, to get it. And he finally got it. And he wasn't really excited because it's like, oh, wow, I'm the last person. I'm a loser.
But now he's been redeemed.
Yes, he's redeemed. I'm like, we're not even halfway through the season. And like, my child is a winner. Like, I'm thrilled.
Wait a minute. Here's what I need to know. Like, are you super sporty? Were you one of those people that was in athletics all your life?
So, no, I did cross country and I pretty much ran my whole life. And I don't really run that much anymore, which is weird. Maybe I like ran myself out of it. And then cheerleading for a few seasons. But then other than that, I didn't really play sports. Like in PE and stuff, I always liked to scrimmage and play basketball, but my parents would have never allowed that. 'Cause I guess sports are for boys or something. Who knows?
For real?
I mean, my parents didn't say that, but I would have just never asked them to play basketball. Like if I wanted to, I would have never asked.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So you
In
stuck
fear
to like
of the answer.
Right. All right. So you went like gender neutral or cheerleading, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was just it. So, I mean, I wasn't really super athletic, but then my husband played baseball his whole life and also, played basketball, like rec ball and whatever. So he's always been athletic. And then Jackson does not like baseball at all, which has been such a huge struggle, and loves soccer, which has also been a huge struggle because my husband was like, he's not playing soccer. He's not playing soccer.
Why?
But I'm all for, I guess because he played baseball for his whole life. And I'm like, okay, you need to realize this isn't your dream. This is his dream and what he wants to do. And if he's happy and thrilled to play soccer, then I am thrilled for him, and more power to you, baby. Like, get out there and kick the ball. Like, that's fine. I'm cool with it.
I'm glad my kid doesn't seem to have any dreams because I don't have to be doing any of these team sports or anything. Because, like, they really occupy a lot of your time.
A lot of your time. I was just actually talking about this. I did a thing on my Instagram where you can, ask questions. And what do people do with their kids on the weekends? Because I feel like by the time Friday rolls around and the weekend starts, it's soccer, baseball, whichever one is in season at the time. And then it's, you have time for maybe an activity in the evening on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have church, grocery shopping, laundry, cleaning the house, and bed. I mean, you got to sleep somewhere.
I for real am tired just hearing your schedule. This sounds terrible.
But like, what do you do? Because you have a 5-year-old too. So,
right. I mean, we just spend time as a family. He's just not in any activities yet, except like swimming lessons. But for now, I'm okay with that. If he asked, he could sign up. He just hasn't expressed interest, and I'm fine with that.
Okay. So he doesn't, I mean, do you think it's because he's an only child and like he doesn't know about it, or?
Yeah, we're like sheltering from this information that he could be having fun without us.
Yes, you're basically depriving your child from having fun activities and being able to participate with team members. Like, that's horrible, Susie. That's horrible.
Right. I'm going to be downgraded from number 1 mom to like 37th mom.
37th. I love it. And I don't know. I honestly do not know how Kail manages to juggle 3 kids. Like, Lux isn't in activities yet because he's too little, but she's got, the other 2 boys that they kind of do the same activities. I think Isaac doesn't play soccer or baseball anymore. I think he just does, I can't say that word, jujitsu.
Oh, yeah, jujitsu.
I have to say it so slow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then she's busy.
Yeah, I'm just like, what? Like, jujitsu? Like, what even?
I don't
even know.
You know how she always talks about the idea of Kail and the chaos, and she jokes about how, her life is kind of chaotic, and I think she thrives in that environment, whereas I do not. I'm more like you. I need a routine. I like a schedule. I don't know how she manages. It would drive me bonkers.
I'm like, no, that does not work. Like, I cannot just work off of dysfunction. It's like I need to be in bed at 10 o'clock. I need to be up by 7. I need to get my dinner going. I need to, do my business affairs, get my child to school. Like, there is a protocol, and that's just what's going to happen. And Kail is just like, she probably wakes up and she's like, oh man, I don't know what we're doing for breakfast. I don't know what we're doing. It's like, and she manages.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
I notice there are people in this world that almost is preferred for them, and that makes them thrive, and they love the adrenaline of it. Like wherever the wind takes them, they make it work.
Yeah, that's Kail.
I don't
like
have
she
that.
said that she actually prefers the dysfunction.
I guess, if you
like,
grew up
how?
in that, like if you grew up in that type of environment, maybe it's familiar and it feels comfortable. That must be it, right?
I'm thinking so. But I mean, I grew up with crazy, but not...
It was like organized,
not like
crazy.
Yeah, it was like organized crazy. So I don't get it.
Okay, so wait, I want to know what the scoop is with... I remember listening to your show a while ago, and you and Kail were talking about how, since you guys are into true crime and all that jazz and like stuff in the news about murderers and stuff, did you guys ever end up doing your hunt a killer like search or whatever?
Yeah, so Kail ordered it, and then I told her, like, you better not open it before I get involved, because I love a good mystery. And she actually has never brought it to Atlanta, so we still haven't been able to do it. But I think about it all the time, and I've heard it's kind of spooky, and so I really like that too, because I like to be scared.
Well, and it's like the perfect time of year to get creeped out.
Yes, it is.
And like, I hear it sweeping the nation, and I feel like you're going to crack the case in like 2 seconds though, because that's your personality.
Yes. And I'm so anal about like details. So I really like that part.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like once Kail's back on the mend, then you guys need to crack the case. So what's the scoop in terms of like, how does it work? And then like, what's the deal for people?
Okay, so here's how it works. We are 2 of over 60,000 people who have joined this really cool online community called Hunt a Killer, and it's a monthly subscription box where you can become a detective, immerse in murder mystery, and it's just so awesome. So right now, if you guys would like to try it, just for our awesome listeners, you can go to huntakiller.com/coffee for 10% off your first box, and they only accept 200 members per day. So hurry and take advantage of this offer. That's huntakiller.com/coffee for 10% off of your first box. huntakiller.com/coffee. Let's see if you have what it takes to get into the mind of a serial killer and solve the mystery.
Love it.
But anyhow, on a completely different note, have y'all done Disney yet? I guess y'all have Disneyland.
We did. Yeah, we did Disneyland, and we have done Disney World too, because I have family members that work there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My niece Dahlia works at the Bippity Boppity Boutique. Don't be jealous.
Oh my gosh. Is that in the Hollywood Studios?
I don't even know, but it's like where they do makeovers for little girls.
I cannot.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad that I don't work there, because I don't even know what I would do if I had a little girl.
Like, you don't like Disney?
No, I do like it, and I went every year as a kid. But I feel like as an adult, the pressure of Disney is so high. Like, I feel so stressed out because I want to do all of it, and I don't want him to miss out on anything. And we went the same time last year at the week of Thanksgiving. And I'm planning another trip to go back for the week of Thanksgiving. And we had such a great time last year, but they didn't have the new Toy Story land there yet. And now Jackson has really gotten behind Incredibles. And for frequent listeners on the podcast, I talk about the Incredibles all the time because I have to hear about them all the time. And that's why I talk about them all the time. And we have everything that probably has ever been made by Incredibles. And I challenge any mom out there that we have more incredible stuff.
Because that's hilarious.
Like, so much incredible stuff, and he wants to see the Incredibles in person so bad. And I'm like, okay.
What the heck does he love about it?
Well, I think because it's kind of like a superhero movie, but it's juvenile and it's relatable to real life because there's a baby in it. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's like a family, and he really just likes the story, and he loves all of the characters, like loves them all. It's the first thing. He was super into Toy Story last year, this time. And then now this year, it's Incredibles. He still loves, all the things that he has had infatuation with. But the Incredibles is like an all-time high. He just is obsessed.
Are you into it? Like, do you enjoy watching it?
I mean, I don't really get into it. I'm just like...
Okay. Just checking.
No, I'm into it because he's into it, but no, it wouldn't be something that I would really get behind. And I mean, it took them, I want to say like 11 or 13 years or something between the time that they made the first Incredibles movie until the second Incredibles movie. Mm-hmm. And he's waiting for 3 to come out. And I'm like, okay, the time frame, like he might be 90 before it comes out.
Right.
Not
He'll
sure.
be in college, right.
So
That's
I'm like
so
trying
funny.
to plan that this week. And it's, you know, to be a super planner, it's a lot of work. So I'm trying to do it all and like find the right place to stay. And there's a few things that I would have, like, there's a few things that I would have done differently last year as far as like my itinerary, because I had printed out and laminated itineraries for like every day we were at Disney. And
did you just say laminated?
I really did. I laminated everything because I was like, oh, if we go on a water ride, it'll probably like screw up my itinerary.
No. That's the best.
I did.
That's real
I'm
cute.
like, this is ridiculous. But there are a few things that I would have done differently. So the people who have sent me messages asking for my Disney itinerary, I'll make sure that I post it for you guys to be able to use. But I'm going to post a better one for our second time at Disney as parents because it will be even better than the first. And I'll keep you guys updated on if we get to see The Incredibles because Jackson will be stalking them throughout the park.
I mean, you have to, because if you left without seeing those people, that would be a traumatic experience for him.
Yes. So
it's not optional,
I can't deal
Lindsay.
with devastation.
Well,
you realize that I have the number written down for the Disney concierge so I can call and make sure I know what park they're going to be at because this is not an option.
So, like, they can tell you, like, Goofy will be at this place at this time? Or how's that
Yes.
work? Okay.
Yes.
And you're going to go where, no matter what, like, even if it's like Epcot in Belgium, you're going to go there.
Yes, I'm going to go there. Would you not go there?
I mean, that's a lot of work.
Susie, like, what kind of life do you guys live? Like, can I be Susie for one day?
Why? What are you saying?
Because I want to know, like, what you guys do. Like, your son doesn't know about organized sports. You probably wouldn't take him to see his favorite character if you were, like, within the theme park.
No, I'm being facetious because last weekend we went to Legoland, which is in San Diego. And that was totally just because he's, you know, really into Lego. And it was a really great experience because it's similar to Disney in, of course, that it's thematic and there's rides and things like that. But it's like a lot more chilled out. And there's not as many people and there's not like the stroller parking lots and stuff. And so that is a lot more manageable for me and I think enjoyable for the whole family.
Well, I do think that sounds more enjoyable, but I was part of the stroller parking lot last year. And my husband kept saying, we're not bringing a stroller to Disney. And I was like, you bet your ass we are. Like,
Right.
I'm not dealing with somebody crying.
Yeah, it's necessary, but there are just so many. And as far as the eye can see are strollers.
Oh my, yes,
That's a
I know.
lot.
Trust me. And then if you park it in the wrong place, then it's like the cops come.
Well,
It's
I
like a
read,
whole...
did you read about that article where somebody's stroller got stolen? And which I'm surprised doesn't happen more often, frankly, because they're right there and you can just take them. But the stroller had the kids like medication, insulin or something. So it was like a real emergency.
my
and I'm like, oh my gosh, don't leave it in the stroller, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, wouldn't you think that that would be like in a fanny pack, like not in the stroller?
A fanny pack. You know I love a good fanny pack. Don't get me started.
Yes. Trust me, I'm going to be way more prepared this time. I have been researching like Disney throwback fanny packs. Like, trust me, I'm getting way into it.
I mean, I support that. This is something I can get on board with. You should be putting this all in your Insta story. Am I missing this?
You need to know because I haven't posted about it. But listen, okay, so the thing about the strollers,
Yeah.
I thought about thieves. Like when I parked my stroller, I was like, you know what? There's probably going to be somebody that's stealing stuff out of this. But then I was like, you know what? This is the happiest place on earth. Like nobody would do that here. So I just left like $1,000 camera in the bottom of it and like hoped for the best. And what would I have done if I would have walked back and like saw somebody like stealing my shit?
Well, you should tell me. What would you have done? You would have been like, I sure wish I would have gotten jujitsu lessons.
Yeah, exactly. I would have been like, excuse me, can you please not steal my shit that I paid for? Like, so rude.
Is your theory that because it's the quote happiest place on earth that people behave better?
Yes,
Wow.
that is my theory.
That's optimistic.
Because I feel like it's like you're in an environment to be happy, right? Like, how can you be mad or angry at Disney World or like want to be a thief? So I just feel like you should trust people more. But that's probably a complete like fake out. Like, that's probably not even real. Like, I just made that up.
You might be right, though, because I don't hear a lot of incidents happening there.
But also, have you heard that Disney has like the highest security of like anywhere, and that they have something called like face recognition, but they have cameras like all over their park. And if they suspect like anything, that they know about it like immediately.
Whoa.
Because they have so many cameras like all over the place that if they see like a suspicious person or whatever, that they're immediately notified. Like, the security there is super high.
Whoa, so it's like the happiest and creepiest place on earth.
True.
I mean,
Like,
because that's
it's a small
pretty
world.
funky. Right. They're right, it is a small world. Right. And I mean, I guess they have to do it that way, but my brother works there and he was saying how they basically are their own city, you know, even though it's Disney World. And so they can have their own, you know, fire a company, like whatever they want, they can have their own as if they're a city, which is crazy to me.
It's very crazy to me. And it's like borderline creepy, but borderline cool.
Right. You've clearly embraced it. I can't wait to see how it goes. My God, pressure's on.
I'll make sure I update everybody. Trust me. So let's take a break to do some truth telling, shall we? The truth is that most of us are brushing our teeth wrong, not long enough, and forget to change our brush head on time. And that's because most brands focus on selling flashy gimmicks rather than better brushes, but not Quip.
I am so into Quip. I cannot wait. Like, I feel like excited that we're about to tell them about my favorite thing in the whole world.
Same. And let me just tell you that when I got my toothbrush, Will stole it and started using it. And it's like, really, dude, that belongs to me, but whatever. So I had to get a different one. So for starters, Quip is an electric toothbrush that is a fraction of the cost of the bulkier brushes while still packing just the right amount of vibrations to help clean your teeth. Quip's built-in timer helps you clean for the dentist recommended 2 minutes with guiding pulses that remind you when to switch sides.
I mean, here's the thing. It looks super cute, too, because it mounts to your mirror, and it looks very sleek and not gross like everybody else's toothbrush. And they have free shipping worldwide. And I just love that, like, the thing that mounts on your mirror that you can, you know, put up there and it sits. Then when you're traveling, you pop that thing right off and you can travel with it super easy. And everyone loves Quip. This goes without saying. It was on Oprah's O list. What more do you want, people? So go ahead.
Exactly.
You tell them. Tell them how to get the dang thing.
Just so you know, I always forget. So I love Quip because they deliver brush heads on the dentist recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5, and I don't miss the money. So I just love it. So if you guys want to get a Quip toothbrush, it starts at just $25. And if you go to getquip.com/coffee right now, you'll get your first refill pack for free with a Quip electric toothbrush. That's your first refill pack for free at getquip.com/coffee, spelled GETQUIP.com/coffee. Now let's get back to the show.
I wanted to ask you if your kid has experienced bullying yet.
Bullying? Okay, so actually, yes. There was a child in his pre-K class that was pretty much a bully to the whole class. It just depended on what day she wanted to like who she wanted to
Oh, it was
bully.
a girl.
And yes, a girl. And she was just, as far as her demeanor and just how she was as a child, she was way far advanced. You could tell that she either was around adults around inappropriate times or she was around older children and kind of like picked up on things that maybe she shouldn't have been
exposed
around.
to.
And yes. And so some of that kind of came out. Like normal 4-year-olds don't really care about what another person's wearing.
Yeah.
Let alone what somebody else is wearing, not even themselves, but like somebody else. Like normal 4-year-olds don't think about that kind of stuff. Like Jackson just kind of got into the fact of trying to dress himself and putting red on red. And we've talked about that in previous podcasts, but that's a whole nother topic. But yes, she was bullying Jackson on 2 different occasions, but it didn't make me feel quite as bad because she had done it to other children too. So it wasn't like she was just singling him out. Called them stupid, him and some friends stupid, and that they didn't know how to do stuff. And they had a farm day at his school where they can dress up like a cowboy or cowgirl or, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I told Jackson, I was like, every year there is a million cowboys and cowgirls. Nobody ever thinks outside of the box. I'm like, think outside of the box and be something else. Mm-hmm. So he was like, I want to be a cow. So of course I go on Amazon, I find a cow costume. I'm like, $20 sold, done. And he gets it, goes to school, he's dressed up, and I walk him in, get him in the line, and everybody, like I said, was dressed up as a cowboy and a cowgirl, and then here you have Jackson coming in as a cow. So this little girl points and laughs, and she's like, ha, Jackson's dressed up as a cow. And I don't think she meant it like in a mean way, but he took it that way because of things that she had done and said before, that his emotions were already high when it came to her. So he took it as she was making fun of him. But then thank God his friend, one of his good friends from his class last year, came in and his mom had bought him the same costume off Amazon. So I was like, thank you, God.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, and so I actually talked to the school about it, and they have in their teacher handbook, like the curriculum and stuff that they teach to the teachers as part as like the pre-planning for school, about bullying, and it's in the curriculum for the teachers for preschool. So I'm like, obviously it's happening other places for them to have added it to their teacher handbook.
Yeah. Well, you really set him up though. You made him wear the outfit that was a dud.
Totally. And then I'm like, really? Like I failed and like I suck.
But I bet he looked so cute.
But I'm like, did I really though? Because my child stands out and all of you other people look exactly the same.
Yeah,
so,
you're right. You did the right thing.
Have you experienced it with Lincoln yet?
Yeah, this year he had these older kids that would come over to him, and he has a very distinct voice. It sounds like he has sucked in helium a little bit, like kind of high pitched. And it's like cute to us, of course, but that's what would make him different, I suppose, to another kid. And so they would want him to talk and laugh about it. But then they started smashing his chips at lunch. And that's when it was like, oh no, like this isn't just playful or sort of run of the mill. And so, but they dealt with it so fast. But the funny part was that the perpetrators had to write letters of apology, and they were like, I'm sorry I scared you and smashed your chips. Love, whoever. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Because they were clearly writing them because they were forced to, but it was still a sweet gesture all the same.
But I was literally crying as a parent because just coming from like a reality TV background and having, followers on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook or, whatever, and you get bullied on social media as
Constantly.
An adult. It's like you can never get anything right. It's like somebody's going to find something wrong with it. It's like, damn, I wore my pants too high, or like my shoelaces weren't tied right.
Yeah.
So I was already super sensitive to bullying anyway, that it literally broke my heart because I saw it firsthand. Like, I saw it with my own eyes. So, there was no question about what happened. There was teachers that witnessed the incident. And it was funny to see, too, an older teacher and a younger teacher have two totally different perspectives on it. Because the older teacher, was like, totally bullying incident, totally not appropriate, totally should be reprimanded for it. And then the younger teacher was like, kids are kids. You know, so you've got, it's like, how is that even possible? So, I don't know. I cried about it because I'm weak, to be perfectly honest. But, and I'm just a sensitive person when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I know how the world can be because of social media, and how people are keyboard cowboys and like hide behind the keyboard because they're so tough. Mm-hmm. And then to see it, firsthand. And I've, used that as an opportunity, as a teaching opportunity as a parent to tell Jackson that, no matter what somebody's wearing or, if somebody's different or whatever, you don't make fun of people and you don't talk bad about people. Like, what they're doing is not your business. You need to mind your own business, stay in your own lane, and not make fun of people. Like, that is not allowed in our household. We do not do stuff like that because, they need to know.
I really thought, though, when you said that the two teachers had different approaches, I thought you were going to say it was the opposite. Like, the older lady would have said, oh, kids are kids, and the younger lady would have the, like, zero tolerance policy.
Agreed, because the, generational gap, the difference in the generations, you would have thought that because totally my grandmother would be like, oh, kids are kids, But yeah, it was interesting. But just to see, just taking the age out of it, just to see, two teachers that witnessed the same incident and took it two totally different ways was interesting to me.
Wow. Well, this is kind of like on the same topic, but did you see that article that was about how your meanest friend is the one that wants what's best for you? Did you see that?
I didn't, but I've heard that for forever.
Do you believe that?
Yes, I do, because I feel like your meanest friend is going to tell you the truth, and that's probably why you think they're mean.
Yeah, right? Like tough love, right?
Yeah, and I love tough love. Like, I hate it, but I love it.
What do you mean?
I feel like it sucks when you're on, it sucks, if you're on the delivering end or the receiving end, because when you have to tell somebody something that that they're not going to like, that's a hard thing to do, to be like, oh, you are doing life totally wrong. Like, obviously, I'm not going to say that to somebody, but I'm just saying as an example. And then being on the receiving end of somebody telling you, oh, you're doing life totally wrong, that sucks too. So, it's not a win situation, but I feel like it's a good thing. I feel like I respect that person so much more when I realize, they kind of opened my eyes to what I wasn't seeing. And it made me make that shift that I needed to make. And I probably wouldn't have done it had they not said it to me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Because it doesn't feel good in the moment, but you do tend to learn from it if you take it on board.
Correct. But I feel like some people can't take... I say if it's constructive criticism and it's in the best interest of, they have your best interest, then I lay it on me, please. But if you don't have my best interest and you're trying to criticize something just to be a bitch, then, I really don't have time for you. So please continue on.
Right. Yeah, I guess, how they say, you got to be cruel to be kind. I guess it's true sometimes.
Yeah. Do you feel like the same way, or do you feel different about it?
I definitely know that the people that I love the most, I am the hardest on. So I can definitely see why this would be true. But I never thought about it with regards to someone being mean to me, whether that was out of love or not. Because, man.
Well, and I also feel like with that, people who are going to invest the time to argue with you about something or bring something up that's a hard topic, then they're invested in you, versus somebody who's just going to be like, oh yeah, everything's fine, it's hunky-dory, nobody cares. I feel like those people are just kind of in your life, out of your life. They couldn't care less which way the wind blows. You know, it's like, everything's good, everything's great. You know, I mean, I don't know.
Fair weather friend kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That makes sense.
All right, y'all, let's take a quick minute to talk about how you can get super lush skin. Any guesses? You know it. We love it because it's BioClarity. We talk about this all the time, and it's just because it's so awesome. BioClarity helps fight breakouts, soothe skin, minimize redness. It reduces your pore size and can even help your skin tone. You can get results from Garden Lush ingredients in as little as 2 weeks, and we love it.
I super love it. And I've even talked to Kail about this because ever since I had a kid, my skin went haywire and BioClarity was the magic solution. And it was so much more affordable than the other things I had tried, and it was soothing and non-abrasive. I use the 3-step routine that's meant to help problem skin, and it does the job for me.
That's awesome. I also had problems with my skin after Jackson. I'd never had a zit before until I had a baby. So
wow.
Now, yeah, it's crazy. So now they have masks. I don't know if you've tried them yet, but I love them. Whether you want to try the clarifying glow getter mask or the hydrating mask, your skin will be looking its best. Right now, I have been using the glow getter because I just love glowy skin. Like I can't get away from it. I just love it. It makes me feel so fresh. So that's just one that I have been personally using, and I use the essentials routine if you guys were wondering as far as my skincare.
Here's the scoop. If you want to get perfect skin like Lindsie, like clearly already had already, and that now I have, thanks to BioClarity, get started on healthier habits with your skincare. If you go to bioclarity.com, our listeners will get their first month for 50% off a routine, plus shipping is free, and it comes with 100% risk-free money-back guarantee. So I always say, what the heck, give it a try. But you need to use our code COFFEE. That's bioclarity.com. Enter our code COFFEE. Get better skin. Now let's get back to the show. I was wondering, because we were talking about our kids at school, like I assume you seem like the type that would be like volunteering in the classroom. Do you ever do that?
Yeah. So actually up until this year, Jackson started preschool at 2. So he did like 2-day 2s, 3-day 3s, 4-day 4s. And now he is in 5-day 5s, but he was a little young to go to kindergarten. So he's going to do kindergarten next year. So he's kind of getting an extra year, which I felt like was the best thing for him, just being a boy and being the youngest kid in his class throughout, his whole preschool experience. And he's really started to excel this year. So I am very confident in my decision. But every year I've always been the real mom until this year. And this year, the teacher's granddaughter is in her class. So her daughter is the room mom. So I'm like, oh, perfect. That's great. I kind of get a year off.
Oh yeah. You're off the hook a little bit.
Yeah, this situation, I don't feel like it's going to happen again. So I'll probably have to be room mom for like the next 18 years. So I'm like, yeah.
This will give you a breather. You can gear up for the next 18. I saw on Facebook, my friend who's a man and his name is Chris. He had volunteered at his son's kindergarten. And when he got like the information sent home, it said Mrs. Whatever his last name is, because his name is gender neutral and they just assumed no man would ever volunteer.
Oh my gosh, that's interesting.
Isn't that bizarre? I was shocked by that.
But it is bizarre. You know why I say that it's bizarre? Because there was this granddad who he passed away, but he was at the school and our church because my son goes to school and church at the same place. So he passed away last year, but he always was helping with like all of the extra stuff, like book fair and like in her class. And I guess he was retired and he just really was invested, and he just helped all the time. And I don't know, maybe her parents worked or something and he had the time so he could do it. But I always saw him at the school and I always thought that's interesting because he's a man and everybody else who volunteers other than him is a woman.
Yeah. I mean, my husband does, and he like went to the zoo last year with the kids and everything. But maybe, I don't know, maybe that's more common in Los Angeles versus other areas. But you're saying like, almost every other person that volunteers is a woman.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I know because I'm volunteering, so I know what I see. And yeah, and it, like class parties and stuff, it's funny because every other year, like I said, that I've been the room mom, I always communicate with parents and it's always, I communicate with the moms and I've never had a dad bring anything other than their own body to show up, like...
For real? This is shocking information for me. I can't believe it.
But, it's interesting that you say that about the field trips because how do you feel about your child going off campus to somewhere else, like out in the world without you being involved?
Not good, Lindsay. I'm a helicopter mom.
Yeah, I'm not good with it. I'm like... I started the admissions process for Jackson's school next year. And I was like, so they probably already think I'm a psycho, but I'm like, so what are the volunteer opportunities that you get to have? Because I know, when kindergarten starts, then they start doing field trips. And I'm like, oh, shit, that means going off campus. Like, wonderful. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, you can volunteer for field trips. And I'm like, awesome, sign me up. Like, sign me up for all the field trips.
Right. That's why Adam went, because they went to the zoo and I'm like, oh no, somebody's got to go to this thing. I just couldn't do it. But like
somebody's going to go, but it's not going to be me.
No, I was willing. I was. But if Kail were here, would she be like, what's the big deal? It's nothing.
I think like a medium, because I think Kail is very like lax with everything other than her kids.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, like with her kids, that's very interesting about Kail. She loves her kids to be on a schedule. She makes sure that they're where they're supposed to be, not late. And I feel like she is, in a sense, like a helicopter parent. She's super involved. Like her kids' teachers will like text her and let her know updates, like if she has to be out of town, like she's super involved.
Oh, okay.
In that regard. So yeah. So I don't know. I don't know that, her boys would be going on too many field trips without her either. I feel like she would volunteer.
It's surprising. You're reminding me how I read this article about a couple that was on parental leave, and they decided to drive around the country and take their kid to all 50 states. And the kid is going to be the youngest person to have done that. And the daughter's she's only 5 months old. And I just could not imagine, like, cause I like a schedule too, like we said. So imagine like when you have a newborn just sitting in the car all damn day, like driving around, going to all the states. Would you have been up for that?
Well, first of all, my child screamed for 2 years, literally, when I would put him in the car, I swear, as long as the car seat had to be like facing backward, like rear facing, he screamed from the time that we pulled out, the car was moving, until the time that we stopped. And then you just wanted to like cringe because you're like, oh my God, can you please hush? And then you stop the car and you open the door and you go to get him out and he's all smiling and you're like,
he's totally fine.
Yeah, it's like, come on. So no, I really could not imagine that, Susie.
No, for me, that sounds like a nightmare because it's hard enough when you have a new baby. So to like plop that kid in the car and have it be sitting in a seat, which, I didn't even think you were allowed to keep them in the seat that long when they're that little, but for whatever reason, they worked it out. And that's how they spent their parental leave. I guess it would help it go faster. I don't know.
And isn't that interesting now that they do parental leave? Because like back in the day, they didn't do that.
I think it's rare. I do. The dad's a civil engineer. The mom was a lawyer, but I mean, I think it's unusual still.
Yeah, I mean, I think my husband was probably ready to go back to work after dealing with me for 4 days.
Didn't want
he was
parental
like,
leave.
Please don't let that be in my benefits.
Would you, like, let's say it was an option, would you have wanted him around?
When Jackson was born, I was so, again, helicopter. I did not want, it wasn't like postpartum or anything. Mine is because of my OCD, because of germs. So
germs.
So like, and he was born in the dead of winter, like 4 days after Christmas. So I'm like, okay, this is like RSV season, like anything could happen. And I did not take that child out of the house, like not even to the grocery store, only to the doctor when he had to. And I did not take him out of the house from the time I got him home until like April.
What?
Not even kidding. Because I was terrified for him to get sick. Like, he was born early.
Yeah.
He was born in winter. He somehow got RSV anyway, even as much as I like protected, and he wasn't around anyone. Like, he was at home. So how do you get RSV? Like, obviously it was probably something my husband brought home from work, or we got at the doctor's office the small time that we had been there. It's like, how does that even happen? So I didn't really want anybody around him, to be perfectly honest, until I knew that his immune system could like handle it on its own. I didn't want people coming in and out of the house. So people kind of like scheduled when they could come over and see him. And then I would like meet them at the door with hand sanitizer. And then I would always text too. Like, before they would come, I would always text and be like, so, like, have you been around anybody that could have, like, had the flu?
Oh,
or, like,
my Lord.
Yeah,
that is brutal.
I was, like, awful. And then Will's dad got the flu, like, 2 years in a row. And so I banned him from us for, like, 3 weeks. I'm like, you could still possibly be contagious. Like, you got to stay over there.
Well, then you definitely weren't going to want to go to all 50 states. You didn't even leave your zip code.
I didn't even leave my address.
That's hilarious.
I mean, seriously, I really didn't. But, you know, I wish, looking back on it now, I wish that I would have allowed Will to do a little bit more. I didn't let him give Jackson a bath until he was 6 months old.
Come on.
I'm not kidding. Like, I did everything. From the time he was born until he was like 6 months was like my time breaker. But at 6 months, I did let him go to his first sleepover with Will's parents, but we went to pick him up. I mean, we drove him there and we went to pick him up. Like, I wouldn't let them have him in the car. I let Will give him his bath for the first time at 6 months old. And it wasn't, I guess I was just like so scared because the first baby Will had ever held was his own child. So I was like, oh my God, like there's so many things that could go wrong.
Right. I see. Yeah. You just wanted to play it safe.
Like, if he had been around like other babies and like there was a lot of babies and their family and stuff, I probably would have been way more lax, but I was terrified. I was like, okay, the only thing Will knows how to control is a baseball, and that's not what this is. So I've got to like keep this baby safe.
I bet he really enjoyed this situation.
I'm sure he probably thought I was crazy, but at the same time, he probably was like, oh, wow, this is nice.
I'm sure. I'm sure Adam, my husband, will be hearing this and think, wait a minute, I got a bad deal. Because, I mean, it was 50-50 over here, man.
So have y'all taken the plunge and tried Beachbody yet? Because I can't say enough about it. I know we talk about it on the podcast all the time. And the last time we talked about it, I was just getting started with a 21-day fix. And that was just a program that I felt like I could really get behind. I really like the trainer, Autumn Calabrese, and they have 21 workouts and it has a nutrition guide. So I just felt like it was something that I could do in the amount of time that I have to give exercise every day. And I try to do at least 30 minutes of exercise every day. And I love it.
Good Lord, 30 minutes. I always do the ones that are like 10 minutes maximum. I know my limits, but that was cool because I always tell people it's like the Netflix for workout videos. So like no matter what your taste is or how much time you have, there's a perfect fit for you. So I always go with like yoga or like low impact, but really for me, the key is like just 10 minutes because I know I can get that accomplished. And like you said, there's all those well-known trainers and there's P90X and all the famous stuff that people know and love, and they can find a perfect workout for themselves.
Absolutely. I use P90X to get ready for my wedding, and I've said that many of times. But the 21-day fix, it's working on like abs, arms, shoulders, and legs. So you get a good like variety of everything. But there's plenty of workouts for everyone. So you can work out on your own schedule, and workouts are as short as 10 minutes, like Susie says, and they don't require any extra equipment. We are also busy that it takes time to drive and park at the gym. You could be finishing working out. And that's the part that I love about it, that I don't have to go anywhere to do it. So you can access it anywhere, anytime. You can work out on your computer, web-enabled TV, tablet, smartphone, Roku, Apple TV, or Chromecast, and more.
What the heck are you waiting for, people? I've been doing it for a year. I've lost 15 pounds. And you need to join me, Beachbody on Demand. We can get in shape together. That way I'm not suffering alone in my 10-minute misery.
So right now, our listeners can get a special free trial membership, including their new 14-day results plan, where you can lose up to 9 pounds in the first 2 weeks when you text coffee to 303030. You'll get full access to this entire platform for free, and all the workouts and nutrition information, the results plan to get you super fast results and support totally for free. Again, you just text coffee to 303030. Okay, let's get back to the show. So there was a lot of Q&A, and I just handpicked just a few for this episode. And a lot of people asked, how do you manage cleaning and household duties and raising kids, and do you delegate chores? So Susie, I'm going to let you answer first, and then I'll answer.
Okay. Yeah, I do. Like, I have a system with my husband. So like we both know like what we're responsible for. Although he is more laid back in terms of like his process. So I'm always like, excuse me, you have like 2 jobs. Can you do one of them? That'd be great. Cause I like things done a certain way. So I'm happy to take on more of the jobs because I'm fussy about like, I want it to look a certain way and be done a certain way. So then I'll do more. But like, especially now that we have a pool, he's in charge of all that jazz. Like, I don't get involved. I just jump in. What's your, like, how do you, I bet you have like a calendar and a chart. Do you have a whole system?
No, I don't have a calendar and a chart, and I refuse because I'm like, these are just life things. Like, I should not have to write life things on a calendar and a chart. Will is very good about yard work.
Yeah, okay.
However, I'm like, okay, but yard work is also like considered cardio. So if you're outside with your shirt off and you're sweating, then like you're also exercising when you're doing that.
Yeah.
So that's like one thing that I'm not getting to do by scrubbing toilets because I'm not breaking a sweat, right? So he's benefiting off of exercise by doing yard work.
Oh.
Yes. It's like a double dipper. And I'm like, okay, like not a fan.
Interesting.
And also yard work is seasonal. So I'm like, okay, that's not a full-time job. So this is like it's like a half a year type thing. And then you don't cut the grass or pine straw or like do any of that jazz because it's dead. So like there's nothing you can do with it.
Right. That's true.
And housework never stops. It's 24/7 and there's always something dirty. So I feel like I got the shit end of the deal, but also I'm a woman. So I feel like I'm pickier with things. I like things a certain way, like you said, and I'm willing to just go ahead and do those chores the way I like them done versus delegating. And then I'm going to complain about how it was done. I would just rather do it from the jump.
Right. I'm always reminded of, there was an episode of Roseanne back in the day where the sister Aunt Jackie was complaining because she was like, why can't I find a guy like Dan? And Roseanne was like, do you think he came like this? I put in 11 years to make him this way. And I like totally get what that's all about.
So relatable. I'm like, so relatable. And then it's like, dinners and stuff, you know, the Instapot. Will's really good about doing like one pot dinners in the Instapot.
Yeah.
But then that's like where it stops. It's like, if it's not the Instapot, then it's not good. Like, even if he does it and it doesn't taste.
Is he one of those guys that's into like grilling? You know how guys don't cook and then all of a sudden if it's outside, they know how to do it?
Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, so you can work a grill, but you can't do anything else. And then, he drives me nuts. Like, he puts bacon in the oven and then doesn't cover it. So it's like splattering grease.
That cannot be allowed.
And he's like, why does it matter? It's just the inside of the oven. You clean that like one time a year. And I'm like, okay, I want to see an oven that people only clean one time a year because that's disgusting. And no.
Well, especially if there's bacon splattering in there, then you got to clean it even more.
And exactly. And I'm like always doing the self cleaner. And then he complains about that because he's like, well, it makes the house 1,000,000 degrees. And I'm like, okay, well then don't splatter bacon grease.
Right.
And we'll be having that problem. The short answer to that question is, I think you just have to find like your balance and what you're good, like what individually you're good at, and do those things and don't bitch about it. And then like set days aside that you do things. So, you know, you can't let your laundry pile up for 19 days and then think that everything else is going to get done on one day in the weekend, because that's just not going to happen. It's not realistic. And then you don't get to spend time with your kids because you're too busy like trying to play catch up. And
I've never understood people that like let laundry build up. I just do one load a day and then that's it.
Yeah, I've started doing the like one offload like during the week, you know, like one or two loads during the week. And then, you know, we don't have a ton of laundry because we just have 3 people, other than the fact that Will changes 3 times a day. But we don't have like a super ton of laundry for it to really build up if you just stay on top of it. But I feel like, I don't know why people do that.
Yeah, like when people say it's laundry day, I'm like, why are you even calling it that? Just do like however much as needed, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, people, let's stop for a second because we have a great idea for you. If you have a daughter that's going to college or a friend who's a new mom, I have the perfect gift idea because FabFitFun is an awesome care package. I mean, we've been talking about it for a long time on Brain Candy. I know you guys on Coffee Convo have been talking about it too because it's got packed full of fun stuff, and we recommend giving it away too. It's not just for you. Don't be stingy. Just in time, the FabFitFun Fall Editors box is here. It's a seasonal subscription box delivered 4 times a year. It has full-size fashion, beauty, home, fitness, wellness, all kinds of stuff in there. And it's just $49.99 a box. FabFitFun is a great gift for yourself or a loved one. I love the box because I get to try new things that I would never have known about otherwise. I have with me right now, I'm using this kit that holds all my like daily makeup stuff, and it's so handy and convenient. I never would have even seen this if it hadn't been for FabFitFun. It's awesome.
We talk about that all the time, about their products that are so useful, but you probably wouldn't have seen it unless it came in your box. So I'm so thankful for FabFitFun. In the fall box, some of my favorite products were the Glam Glow Bubble Sheet Mask. I love Glam Glow. And the Beauty Blender, because I feel like you can never have enough beauty blenders, and I'm always losing mine for whatever reason. So I was really excited to see that. So you guys, these are full-size products in these boxes, no samples, which I love because you cannot really get a good feel for a product with just trying samples. The value is insane. Many of the products' individual value is more than the entire cost of the box. The total retail value for the fall box is over $275, and not every box is the same. So again, I gave you my favorite products, and I think you'll love them too.
Yeah, here's the scoop. You can sign up for FabFitFun today and get your Fall Editors box. The FabFitFun Fall Editors box is in limited supply. They always sell out. Use our code COFFEE to get $10 off your first box. Go to fabfitfun.com to sign up and start getting the box for a life well lived. Use promo code COFFEE to get $10 off your first box. That's over $200 value for only $39.99. Go to fabfitfun.com and use the code COFFEE and get $10 off your first FabFitFun box. All right, you guys, let's get back to it.
Okay, so next question.
Yep.
I've been told that you cannot have a family and a successful career. What are your thoughts?
What? Somebody says this?
Yeah, somebody said it on Instagram. That's what they asked.
Like that it's might be the case that you either have a good family or a successful career?
Yes, but not both.
Oh my gosh, I sure hope that's not true. I mean, that's bonkers. Like I know I get the essence of like, we're all limited by the amount of hours in a day. Nobody has an advantage on 24 hours. But so you have to split up your time. And if you're really good at one thing, I guess other things can get sacrificed. But I don't see why you can't have both. What do you think?
I feel like sometimes when you're a mom, there's always a pull, like with work and with your family, and you always have an obligation no matter which way you go. I think you just have to find that balance. And, having a career is self-fulfilling, but also good for your family financially. But then if you don't have a career, you don't have something that is self-fulfilling, then I feel like a lot of people are resentful because they don't have that, because they've given everything to their family. So you have to find that happy medium to where you can work, but also take time away from work, step completely away from it, and just spend time with your family. And, I've talked about it last week on the podcast, I think, about how I'm implementing the Monday through Friday rule, that if it doesn't happen by Friday at 5 p.m., then it's not going to happen until Monday at 8 p.m. Like that's just not going to happen, because the weekends are for my family.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely do need to have boundaries. But I just feel like that question wouldn't even be asked to a guy. Like everyone would just assume that they could have both.
Exactly. Yeah. I definitely think that, like, there's always like this stigma, I think, around women that if you're not staying at home and keeping your house and like being a wife and being in like 1920, then you're like crappy or something.
Wow. Do you think that's more of a Southern thing?
Yes. Yeah. I definitely think it's like more prevalent in the South than anywhere else. Because I feel like you go to LA and you see all these women hustling, and you see, you go to New York, you see the same thing. Here, I feel like there's a lot of stay-at-home moms and a lot of people who have one-income households, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if that's the way that you have mapped out your life for your family, more power to you. Love it. And, I stayed at home for the first year of Jackson's life, but we had just started Chrisley Knows Best. So I was kind of working, but then we would have, months off. So that was good for me, coming into motherhood, to be able to like transition that way. Yeah. But then I've worked ever since, and I don't feel like my child has a negative, like impacts him negatively because I have to do other things.
Yeah. And for me, I would be a terrible person if I wasn't able to do some like things that I love professionally or personally outside of family life. So I feel like it benefits your kid if you have those things that, strengthen your soul and make you feel like a human being.
Well, and I think that every woman or man needs that interaction with other adults. You know, it's very hard and you feel kind of lost. And I know there's a lot of probably, you know, either single moms or stay-at-home moms that are listening to this podcast. And I know it's hard to be inside a house and be raising a baby and, you know, not working, and you don't have that interaction with coworkers or just like personal interaction with other adults, that is very wearing and taxing on you as a human being, and just like your mental health, because you're looking at four walls and a baby spitting up and shitting their pants and you're like, oh, you know. So I know how that feels because I've been there. And then your husband comes home from work and he's all, you know, hyped up, and you're like, okay, that's nice. You have been at work all day having social interaction, and I've been at home cleaning dirty diapers and pureeing food and making dinner and doing laundry. So at that point, I kind of got a gym membership, and I just would, when he got home, I would make sure dinner was done and, you know, eat dinner. And then I would go to the gym for like an hour, because just seeing
smart.
other adults.
Yeah.
Just like seeing other adults was nice. So, I mean, I can see both sides of, you know, why people would want to stay at home and then why people would want work. I feel like I have to have the work aspect, but I also like the flexibility of what I do to be able to stay at home with my child.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's got to figure out what works for them, but I don't like the limitation of like, you have to pick one or the other. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, and I'm not signing up for that question. So,
no thanks.
No. Okay, and the last question for today is views on Bachelor and Bachelorette parties.
Ooh, like, is the question like, are we pro or anti or what?
Yes, I think it's like, and just like the thoughts behind them, like just your general thoughts.
Okay, so I think that the Bachelorette scene has really grown over, I don't know, the last 15 years or so, where it used to be like women got a bridal shower, which are terrible and boring and nobody should have to go to those. But we would get these bridal showers where it was like, here's presents that you can use to cook and stuff. And then men would have these bachelor parties with strippers and whatever. And so I feel like only now has it become like both people have these blowouts to celebrate singlehood for a minute, but they're not my bag. What about you?
I don't agree with him, just because I feel like the whole thought process behind them is wrong.
Yeah.
Because to celebrate being single would indicate that you weren't in a committed relationship at all. So I don't see how you go from like being single to married. Like that's not normal.
Well, like, have you ever been to a bachelorette party?
No. So actually most of my friends started getting married like in the last 2 years, and I've been wrapped up filming and dinking around on TV. So it's like I could never plan anything to go. So I missed out on them. But is it like, did I really miss out? Because I don't really support it.
Well, and they're so tacky, man. Like the paraphernalia involved, like the weird, you know, X-rated stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not into it. I've never been to one, but I have seen the photographs.
Well, I'm not into it. And I just think that if you have them, you know, more power to you. If you went out and had a good time with your girlfriends or your guy friends or whatever, more power to you. But I think that when you start getting strippers and you're going to the strip club, you don't need to be getting married. If that's what you've got to do to like have your last hurrah to put a ring on it, then I don't know. I'm not really about them. And I do agree, though, that if men can have them, women should be able to have them.
Yes.
Because, I mean, like you said, who really wants to go to a bridal party and be sitting and opening towels, you know, like.
Right. Like, I didn't like that scene either. But now this whole thing, and if like I've done stand-up comedy for a while, and whenever there's a bachelorette party that comes, it's like, oh no, because they're going to talk through the whole thing. They're going to be on their phones. They're going to be like just not paying attention to the show. And, you know, they just get a little rowdy, man.
I don't know. I just think that if you want to do stuff like that still, then like maybe postpone your wedding till a later date or something.
So you feel like if somebody's doing this, that spells doom for their relationship?
I mean, I'm not going to say doom because I think there's a lot of people that just like to have a good time. And I think that, you know, that's probably as far as it goes, is just having a good time.
Yeah.
But yes, I feel like it's a bad like omen or stigma or whatever you want to say, like on the relationship. Flag. Yes, like I feel like you're starting it wrong. And I'll tell you like a brief little story that happened to me in Nashville. Apparently Nashville is the capital of the world for bachelorette parties. And I was staying at a hotel when I was filming for the show about 1.5 years or 2 years ago. And my room was sandwiched between a bachelor party on one side and a bachelorette party on the other. I had a wake-up call at 6 a.m., and these folks were going strong all night long.
Oh
and I was
God.
like, if I can just make it through like this night, then I'm going to like tell the people at the front desk, I understand they're having a great time and stuff, but like I'm really not having a great time, and I have to work in the morning, and I understand that they don't even know if they're going to be living in the morning, but I'm going to need to be moved. So of course, they come back and say, hotel's at full capacity and, you know, we do not have any other rooms. And I'm like, wonderful, great.
Oh, my God.
So the next night comes and I'm like, okay. So it's quiet. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is awesome. I have dinner. Everything's great. 10 o'clock rolls around and I start hearing them.
No.
And it sounds like the bed broke on like the bachelorette party side. Like they were on the left side of my room and it sounded like the bed broke. And then I hear somebody yell out, oh shit. And I'm like, seriously? Like what is going on over there? Okay. So apparently at this point, the bachelor party and the bachelorette party have teamed up together.
Right.
And they are. So in that situation, I'm like, okay, somebody needs to call this person, this bachelor's wife, future wife, and let her know that they probably should not be getting married because they've teamed up with this bachelorette party and they're having a grand time here in Nashville. And who knows what she's doing back at home.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that there was hanky-panky or just shenanigans?
Well, I don't know because I wasn't in the room, but I called the security people and I was like, listen, I cannot do this another night because it was literally like beating music and bed breaking and whatever. And the security came up there and they escorted the girls out of the hotel. Like they couldn't even stay there anymore. And I asked why they got escorted out. And they said that they had partnered up with the bachelor party on the other side of my room and that there was some things going on that they could not discuss with me, but that the loud crash that I heard was in fact the bed breaking in the bachelorette's room. So I was like, okay, that's all I need to know. And now they're not here. So that's great. So
see, no wonder you don't like them. You have firsthand evidence that they are not good.
Yeah, not a fan. Well, Susie, I'm so glad that I got to catch up with you and have a little chat. So would you like to tell our listeners where they can go and listen to you?
Oh, yeah, thanks. I had so much fun and I feel very honored. I know you'll be glad when Kail returns better than ever, but I do have a podcast called The Brain Candy Podcast, and our website is thebraincandypodcast.com, and you can check it out on any podcast player, iTunes, etc.
Well, thank you. And for our listeners, if you have not checked out our Instagram, you can go to @Coffee Convos Podcast. on Instagram and follow us on there. We update every week for episode releases, so you guys can find it on there, and we do the swipe up links. But you can also go to iTunes, to the podcast app, and if you have not given us a 5-star review, make sure you give us a 5-star review on there. And you can also do written reviews. We love to read those, and we just love the support. So thank you so much for listening, and we will be back next week. Have a great week.
This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Babes and Babies, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.